Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we're going to be talking about things I wish I knew before I started crocheting. If you don't know, I've been crocheting for a couple of years now, and there's obviously a lot of things which I didn't really know until I started crocheting, which is understandable. Number one, I wish I knew that it wasn't an easy ride and it wasn't as simple as I thought it would have been. Because obviously, you know, when you see all of these videos and when you see people crocheting, you think, oh my god, this is actually easy. Like, it isn't too bad. You know, you just need one hook. Like, it's not like knitting where you've got two. Just, it's quick to work up and all of that stuff. And there's only a few stitches you need to know. That's not the case. Like, when you start, it's actually so hard and it's not easy. Because again, it's a very like muscle memory type thing. Like, you don't know it, and your brain tries to like understand that you're doing two things at the same time, and it's a big skill in itself. So if I could go back in time, I tell myself that, mate, when you're going into this, don't think it's easy, because I had that mindset. So when I was actually kind of starting the crochet stuff, I literally kept getting mad because I was thinking to myself, oh, what the hell, like, why am I not getting it right? When it's like, well, it's literally a learning process, and it is not as easy as people like to say it is. The next thing I wish I knew before I started crocheting, I mean, it's kind of a good one. It's basically, you don't need too much tools and essentials to start crocheting. You actually just need a hook and a bit of yarn. Like, it's not that deep, especially when you start. You don't need to be worrying about different sizes and different yarn weights and different materials and all that stuff. Like, it's more stress. I think the starting for you is basically just kind of understanding the whole craft and just basically being able to use a hook and yarn and just kind of figure it out. Because I've seen a lot of people where they're kind of stressing out and, you know, they're buying all different bits and bobs and they're making sure that they have certain stuff, and it's like, no, that's just, if you're starting out, you don't need to worry about that. And that is one thing I wish I knew, because I think when I first started, I was one of those girls and I was like, oh my god, I need to get this, I need to get this, I need to get this, and then it was just very overwhelming and it wasn't worth it. So maybe not. Okay, the next thing I wish I knew before I started crocheting is basically start with the basics. Okay, I know it's very easy, and I used to be one of those people, obviously. When I was looking at Pinterest and like YouTube and like Instagram and all of the amazing things that I've seen people crochet, I'm like, oh my god, I actually want to crochet that. Like, you feel quite ambitious. So that was one thing I wish I kind of knew, because I think it's so easy to fall into the trap of, oh my god, I'm going to start this crazy project. And when you do that, which I did at one point, it really puts you off, and then you start thinking to yourself, well, what's the point of crocheting now, because I literally can't figure this out. And that is what really puts you off, because then you're starting with something so complicated. Bear in mind, if you start with a very small, easy project to begin with, at least that way you get those small wins and you're happy with what you've done, and then you feel more confident to move on to the next thing. So definitely keep in mind, stick to the basics, let's not complicate it from the beginning. The next thing I wish I knew before I started to crochet is to make sure that you take breaks. Is definitely to, you know, start taking breaks and not crochet for a long period of time, because I think that also then makes you feel more tired at the end of it, and then your hand starts to hurt, and then you just kind of feel like, well, I've done so much crocheting for the whole day, and then you just don't feel like doing it later on, and then you end up like leaving a project and you don't end up coming back to it, and then it's just a long process. So I think best thing to do is take breaks, because at least that way you're going to feel motivated to come back to it, and you're not going to be like slumped in a chair doing the same thing for like hours and hours on end. Especially when you start crocheting, you don't want to lose the motivation and the momentum. So that is definitely one thing that I'd also recommend. The next thing that I wish I knew before I started crocheting was, it's fine to kind of dip into different projects. Don't feel like you have to focus on one thing and you have to finish that, because again, because you're just starting out, you don't need to be fixated on one thing at a time. And if you do try and do little different things, then that could also help and keep you going, and it makes it more fun. Because imagine starting out and you're like focusing on this one thing for like hours and hours and days and days and days, and then it might just make you feel less motivated. So try and do little different things and just experiment, and at the end of the day, this is you kind of getting into the whole crocheting world, so it's better to experiment from the beginning. Okay. The last tip that I would give, or the last thing that I wish I knew before I started crocheting, was it is okay to make mistakes. When I tell you, it is fine, it is absolutely fine if you mess up a stitch, if it goes wonky, if you don't end up finishing it, or you have to unweave the entire thing. It is actually okay, and don't feel like you have to get it right from the get-go and just basically ace it every time, because of course not. Like, it's literally a new thing that you're kind of starting, and if you have that mentality of like, oh, I have to get it right every single time, then it's just not going to be right for you, and it's just going to stress you out even more. And come on now, we don't want crochet to be a stressful hobby. We want it to be something that helps us kind of keep calm and is enjoyable to do, and it's fun to do, because when you get to that point where you're like, oh my god, I need to get it right every time, then that can basically not be fun anymore. So it's definitely okay to make mistakes, and at the end of the day, those mistakes will help you learn and grow. So that is the last tip that I'd give you, because it's very important. Anyways guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was a very short one. I just thought I'd share my like a few little tips. Take these tips on board, because they are definitely something that I now would do if I were to go back in time and start crochet. And yeah, if you've got any other questions, and if you want to see any more videos like this, please let me know. Comment down below what other crochet videos you want to see, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.